Hello everyone, welcome to Front Page MMA. Today we're going to be looking back at the fights that happened at the weekend at UFC RIO RANCHO. Quite a good event, a lot of things happened, a bit of controversy, a few good finishes, so let's get looking back. So we had two flyweights kicking off the prelims. We had Julian Paiva versus Mark Dela Rosa. Paiva managed to win via second round knockout, very nice finish. Definitely kind of stamped himself as one to watch in the division. So we'll just kind of go over the bigger talking points from the event. Before we get into the main card, one fight that deserves a lot of shine was on the prelims, and it featured Jim Miller versus Scott Holtzman. That was just an incredible fight. Two veterans that they're so tough, didn't want to go down. I'd say Jim Miller got off to a better start, but Scott Holtzman definitely came into his own into the second, especially the third round. Kind of took over the fight as Jim Miller began to slow down a little bit. So that was a really good fight. I enjoyed that one, so thought I'd give that one a little special shout out. Immediately following that fight though, we had John Dodson versus Nathaniel Wood in a fight that surprised a lot of people. Most people did expect Nathaniel Wood to continue his rise, get his fourth straight win in the UFC, but John Dodson was just so quick, so evasive, and you could tell that as the fight was going on, slowly but surely the fight was starting to slip away from Nathaniel Wood a little bit. The experience of Dodson was just far too much in my opinion, and as Wood got more frustrated by the footwork and speed of Dodson, he was lunging in a bit more, getting caught with more strikes, and it seemed like a matter of time before one of Dodson's power punches just clipped him, and that's what happened in the third round. A lot of controversy surrounding the stoppage, but I believe the stoppage was great. I wanted Wood to win, but it got dropped and then sustained 10 or so unanswered shots, so the ref had every right to jump in and stop it. John Dodson looked great, declared his back to all the bantamweights out there, so Dodson's definitely one to watch, but Nathaniel Wood will be back, guarantee it. Definitely one of the better prospects in the division, so I'd be surprised if he didn't bounce back in a big way next time out. So in the next fight of the night we had an incredible debut from Daniel Rodriguez, who faced the veteran Tim Means. I did expect Tim Means to deal with this one quite easily, but mostly down to the fact that I wasn't familiar with Daniel Rodriguez, but his boxing, his awareness of distance and when to jump in, when to open up, when to just stay at range was really impressive, and he completely outstruck Tim Means, who's a fantastic stand-up fighter, so I was really impressed by him. Really hurt Tim Means at the end of the first round. I think some people missed that, missed a knockdown because I think it went to adverts for some people, but at the end of the first round he caught by a massive punch which saw Tim Means struggle to make it back to his corner, and he never really recovered from that, to be honest. Daniel Rodriguez found it far too easy to continuously catch him with the big combinations and strikes, and it wasn't looking good for Tim Means, so when it did get clipped the final time, if it wasn't a TKO, it was going to be a finish anyway, so Rodriguez used a bit of expertise and just snatched up the standing guillotine to tap out Tim Means in the second round. Very promising debut for Daniel Rodriguez, and interested to see what he does next. So kicking things off on the main card, we had a fight between Lando Venata and Yancy Medeiros, which are two fan favourites. A lot of people expected a war, but it didn't really turn out that way. It was quite a technical stand-up fight with Lando Venata not pressing the action too much and just looking to counter for the entire fight, which he did pretty well, so not much to say about that fight, but an easy, convincing, unanimous decision win for Lando Venata in that one. Next up we had Ray Borg take on Rogerio Bontorin in a flyweight bout. Ray Borg did miss weight again for God knows what time, but kind of gets a little bit of slack in my opinion for the amount of personal stuff he's got going on with his child, so we will look past it on this occasion. But Ray Borg, the strength and the grappling skills was just far too much for Bontorin, to be honest, and similar to the Venata fight, it was just not that competitive, to be honest. It was Ray Borg was able to outclass the opponent down to sheer experience and skill. One judge had it 30-25, so that kind of gives you a hint into the level of dominance that's on show by Ray Borg. Hopefully he'll make weight in the future again, but it is what it is, and it would be nice to see him make another run at the title, so we'll see what happens from here. So the next fight is where the controversy really began. On the card we had Brock Weaver, someone who a lot of fans are very excited to see what he can do in the UFC. He was taking on Casilla Vargas. This fight more or less ended before it got started. We had Vargas straight from the gate, pressuring Brock Weaver, loads of strikes, rushing forward before shooting a takedown. Weaver was looking good off his back, he was throwing up submissions, working well. As the two kind of scrambled back to their feet, we had obviously a big illegal knee from Vargas, which appeared to almost knock out Brock Weaver, so that fight was called to a halt, not far into the fight. I think there was a minute left in the fight, so we didn't really get to see much from Brock Weaver, but we need to look at it and see what it does next time really. It'll be interesting to see what he can really do in the division when it gets properly up and running without such a sort of unfortunate and unexpected illegal strike in the first round really, so not much to say about that one. Up next we had the female flyweight bout between Montana Dela Rosa and Mara Romero Barilla. This was a fairly close fight, we had some nice grappling exchanges, but the real deciding factor in the bout was in the third round where Dela Rosa was able to just drop Barilla with a massive right hand, so I think that really swayed the judges if they were ever in doubt to give the decision to Dela Rosa, so big win for Dela Rosa, and it'll be interesting to see how she moves forward in the division. I would like to see Dela Rosa be put up against someone like Maycee Barber. I think that's a really good step up in competition for her, and with the UFC seeing a potential star in Maycee Barber, I think that could also be a good bounce back fight for Barber herself, so that'd be a really interesting one to see how that one played out. I think that should be next for Dela Rosa. The next fight is where we got most of the controversy from the event. It was a bout between Michel Pereira and the veteran Diego Sanchez. Michel Pereira was in control for the vast majority, if not all, of the fight, despite an interesting front flip, Rolling Thunder type attack in the first round from Sanchez. Pereira kind of pinched the first round with good use of distance and some hard body shots towards the end of the round. A bit more of the same in the second round, to be honest. A lot of distance management from Pereira, and then a big slam at the end to really shut off any doubt, if there was any, about who the round was going to. There was a little bit more action in the third round where a series of showboating attempts really lit a fire under Sanchez and caused him to move forward and become a lot more aggressive, but Pereira landed a series of knees which resulted in the final one of these knees landing while Sanchez was on the ground. When the referee called a halt to the fight, it was at this point that the controversy came from. On the TV broadcast we were able to hear Diego Sanchez ask the referee, "Will this be a DQ if I can't continue?" After the referee told Sanchez that yes, it would be a disqualification, Sanchez then decided that he could not continue. I've seen a lot of different opinions on this from the MMA community, but in my opinion, the fact that he had to ask first to decide whether or not he could continue really makes it a bit shady for me, so I'm not pro Sanchez on this one. I think it was a little bit, can't blame the guy, he wanted his win money, but it was an unsportsmanlike move. Anthony Smith keeps getting referred to because he obviously was in a similar position against John Jones in a title fight. He could have taken the title if he took a dive, but he decided to just power through, which I think people expected from Sanchez, being the tough dog fighter style guy that he is. So a lot of people were disappointed by that, me kind of included, but it is what it is. Despite technically losing the fight, Pereira was in control. In terms of matchmaking, the UFC will treat this as a win for Pereira when selecting his next opponent. If I was able to decide Michel Pereira's next opponent, I would give him someone like Gunnar Nelson or Emo Make, because Make is an absolute nutcase as well, so that could make for a really interesting stylistic matchup for the fans. And Gunnar Nelson would be a good step up in opposition, so it would be interesting to see how he coped with such a big jump up in talent. As for Diego Sanchez, in my opinion it's time he hangs it up. A lot of fans have been kind of turned against him a little bit by what happened last night. I just think that with the legacy that Diego Sanchez has built for himself throughout the years, it's time to hang it up before it does too much damage to it. He's got rid of a great coach in Greg Jackson and replaced him with some spirit guru, so before he does too much damage to his legacy, it's time to quit while he's ahead. Next was the main event of the evening, which featured a light heavyweight fight between Jan Blachowicz and Corey Anderson. This one was really exciting. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a big fan of Jan, but it was fantastic to see him get a big first round knockout. For Jan Blachowicz, that's now 7 wins in his last 8 appearances in the octagon, and after the win he rightly called out John Jones the champion. In my opinion, this is the fight to make. Make Jan Blachowicz versus John Jones for the title. I've never really been a fan of immediate rematches. Yes, the Dominic Reyes fight was really close, but I just think we just watched it. Give us something fresh, let Reyes fight again, then run it back if Jones is still the champion. I just think Jan, with his recent run of incredible form and the devastating power that he showed recently, would be a really interesting matchup for Jones. I'm not going to kid myself on, it's most likely going to be another 50-45 for John Jones, but I'd quite like to see it still. As for Corey Anderson, I would suggest you maybe put him up against someone like Volkan Ozdemir. That could be a good fight. They're both really still elite top fighters in that division, so it allows one of them to propel themselves back up to the top end of the division with a win. Alternatively, give him Alexander Rakic. A far more dangerous fight, but still an exciting one for the fans to watch. I would let Anderson demonstrate that he can still deal with these top guys coming up and really cement himself as one of the top fighters, even though maybe he's not really top 5 just yet. I know this video has been a little bit rambly, but if you liked what you saw and you're able to sit through the whole video, consider giving the channel a subscribe and make sure you follow Front Page MMA on Twitter for all the latest news. We'll be bringing a lot of interviews to the channel now, something I want to really start picking up, hopefully get bigger and bigger names as we get more experience. And we do also run a podcast that's on Spotify, iTunes, most streaming places, so give that a little listen if you need some more MMA content. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.